This video is for informational and educational purposes only. All information presented is based on publicly available sources, including news reports and public records. The individuals mentioned are referenced solely in the context of reporting factual events. Any images or video clips used are stock footage and are intended for illustrative purposes only. The people shown in this video have no connection to the actual events or individuals discussed. No harm, defamation, or misrepresentation is intended. Viewer discretion is advised due to sensitive and potentially disturbing content. Tonight, we delve into a tragedy that captured America's attention, a cross-country adventure that ended in heartbreak and questions left unanswered. This is the story of Gabby Petito, a 22-year-old who vanished during a van life trip with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. The events that followed gripped the nation, revealing a complex web of social media evidence, police encounters, and a desperate search, ultimately ending in 2 tragic deaths. Viewer discretion is advised. This story contains accounts of domestic violence, homicide, and other troubling details. It is not suitable for all audiences. It began as a dream trip, a 4-month cross-country journey documented on social media. Gabby Petito was 22, a creative, free-spirited young woman who longed for adventure. Her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, had similar aspirations of exploration. They departed on July 2nd, 2021, from Gabby's hometown in Blue Point, New York, driving a converted Ford Transit Connect camper. They planned to visit national parks, record their experiences, and share every step online. But by late August, something went terribly wrong. Gabby Petito disappeared, and Brian Laundrie returned alone to his parents' home in Northport, Florida. An uneasy silence followed, one that would soon explode into a national news phenomenon. Gabrielle Venora Petito was born on March 19, 1999, in Blue Point, New York. She came from a large blended family, 6 younger siblings and half-siblings, striving to find her place in the world. In 2013, she and her stepbrothers appeared in a music video to raise awareness about gun violence after the Sandy Hook tragedy. Always sensitive and creative, Gabby graduated from Bayport Blue Point High School in 2017, where she first met Brian Laundrie. She briefly lived in North Carolina, working as a restaurant hostess and planning to attend college. But by 2019, she was dating Laundrie and moved in with him and his parents in Florida. Gabby was industrious. She worked at Taco Bell and as a nutritionist to fund her dream trips. On social media, she showcased her love for art, yoga, and a healthy lifestyle. Her optimistic posts painted a picture of a bright future, yet behind the scenes, tensions would begin to surface. Gabby and Brian embarked on earlier adventures, traveling from New York to California in late 2019 and early 2020. They visited iconic destinations, Las Vegas, Yosemite, Pismo Beach, and more. Gabby celebrated her 21st birthday in Florida, and by July 2020, they were engaged. When Gabby purchased a used 2012 Ford Transit Connect, the couple planned their next big trip, setting out on July 2nd, 2021. They documented their stops on Instagram and YouTube: Monument Rocks in Kansas, Great Sand Dunes in Colorado, Bryce Canyon, Zion, and Canyonlands in Utah. Yet beneath the social media highlights, dark undercurrents surfaced. The final weeks of their journey would include an alarming encounter with police, one that hinted at more than just travel stress. On August 12, 2021, a 911 call reported a couple arguing in Moab, Utah, later identified as Gabby and Brian. Witnesses described seeing Brian slap Gabby, then both running up and down the sidewalk before driving off. When the Moab City Police stopped their van near Arches National Park, Gabby was visibly upset, crying throughout the encounter. Police body cam footage showed her apologizing, explaining she had anxiety and OCD, that she and Brian argued constantly, and that she'd quit her job to blog about their travels. Brian, for his part, told officers he was trying to push her away to create space. Gabby admitted hitting Brian first, but asked that they not be separated. Officers ultimately viewed it as a mental health crisis, rather than domestic violence, arranging for Brian to stay at a motel. and Gabby to keep the van for the night. This encounter hinted at deeper troubles in their relationship, but it ended with no arrests, only a parting warning. No one realized just how grave the situation would become. After the MOAB incident, Brian briefly flew back to Florida on August 17th to handle some storage issues, returning on August 23rd. They resumed their journey, and Gabby's final communication with her mother was on August 25th. The couple was last seen together at a Whole Foods in Jackson, Wyoming on August 27th. Eyewitness accounts noted a heated argument between Brian and restaurant staff in Jackson Hole, where Gabby appeared emotional and apologized for Brian's behavior. Later that day, they drove to the Bridger-Teton National Forest campsite. On August 30th, Gabby's mother received a cryptic text, "No service in Yosemite," raising suspicions that Gabby might not have sent it herself. By September 1st, Brian returned to Florida alone in the van. Gabby was nowhere to be found. Gabby's family reported her missing on September 11th, setting off a nationwide search. Brian refused to speak with authorities, hiring an attorney. He became a person of interest when it emerged he'd used Gabby's debit card after her disappearance. Police watched the Laundrie home closely. On September 13th, Brian slipped away. 4 days later, he was officially reported missing by his parents. This revelation sent shockwaves through the media, intensifying scrutiny on Brian's behavior and his family's role. On September 19th, remains matching Gabby's description were discovered at the Spread Creek dispersed camping area in Wyoming. An autopsy confirmed her identity and ruled her death a homicide by blunt force trauma to the head and neck, with manual strangulation. The woman behind the bright social media posts and YouTube vlogs was gone. Questions loomed. Why? How? And where was Brian Laundrie? An arrest warrant for Brian was issued on September 23rd over unauthorized use of Gabby's debit card. The massive manhunt stretched across Florida's Carlton Reserve and the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. Day after day, authorities combed wetlands and forest areas, hampered by flooding and difficult terrain. Speculation soared. Some believed Brian was on the run, others suspected a cover-up. Public frustration grew toward Brian's parents, who remained largely silent, and throngs of media camped outside their home, demanding answers. On October 20th, investigators located Brian's skeletal remains in the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park, an area that had been previously underwater. Alongside his remains were personal items, including a notebook. An autopsy was inconclusive, so the remains were sent to a forensic anthropologist. The findings revealed Brian died by a self-inflicted gunshot to the head. His notebook, recovered at the scene, contained a written admission. He had killed Gabby. With Brian's death, the case took a final haunting turn. No trial, no cross-examination, only words left behind in a water-damaged notebook. From the start, Gabby Petito's case exploded online and on cable news. Her story drew millions of views on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, fueled by her own travel vlogs and the unsettling body cam footage of the MOAB incident. Some labeled the intense attention as missing white woman syndrome, highlighting how similar cases, especially those involving marginalized communities, often go unnoticed. Gabby's father, Joseph Petito, ultimately used the spotlight to advocate for all missing persons, hoping no other family would endure the anguish his did. The public's involvement was both helpful and chaotic, leading police to new leads but also spawning wild theories and misinformation. Multiple other missing persons were found during the heightened search efforts, a bittersweet silver lining. Gabby's parents pursued legal actions against the Laundrie family, alleging emotional distress and wrongful death, arguing that Brian's parents withheld information about Gabby's fate. MOAB police also faced a lawsuit, with her family claiming the officers failed to follow protocol during the traffic stop, potentially preventing a tragedy. Some lawsuits were dismissed under governmental immunity, while others continue aiming to hold accountable those believed to have contributed to Gabby's final desperate moments. Through it all, her memory fuels calls for reform in domestic violence responses and missing persons investigations. Gabby Petito's story is one of immense tragedy, a bright young soul whose life ended far too soon. Yet her case also shined a harsh light on domestic violence, the power of social media, and the legal system's response to missing persons. Her family has channeled their grief into advocacy, creating the Gabby Petito Foundation to support search efforts for other missing individuals. In her name, they work to ensure no victim's story goes unheard. May we remember Gabby not simply as a victim, but as a reminder of how fragile life can be and how crucial it is to speak up when we sense danger. This tragedy calls us to look out for one another and to seek help for those who cannot help themselves. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Gabby Petito's story. Though the case has ended, let it spark conversations about mental health, domestic violence, and the importance of paying attention to red flags, both online and off. Gabby's legacy is etched in every call for justice, every vigil lit in her honor, and every effort to bring missing loved ones home. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence or suspect someone is in danger, contact the appropriate helpline or local authorities. Your voice could save a life.